Welcome or welcome back, besties. We'll be starting a new series known as the Face Theory, in which you learn everything you need to know and I know about the physiological aspects of your face, like the angles, the symmetry, the bone, the face structure, and everything that makes your face aesthetically pleasing and scientifically pleasing. So, the first prominent concept that I want to talk about is the angel skull versus the witch skull. Even if you haven't heard about this concept, you would recognize these two images right in front of you from Disney movies or characters as the angel skull versus the witch skull. It's a very common and obvious phenomena, but what really differentiates these two skull shapes? So, for to understand that, we need to know about the bones in your skull. There are three important bones that I would like you to know about. The first is your maxilla. It forms your upper jaw portion, it runs behind your nose till your upper part of your teeth, and it basically forms your nasal region and the upper jaw. The next bone that we need to know about is the zygomatic bone. It runs right outside your eye sockets till your cheekbones, and those people that have very prominent cheekbones have a very strong zygomatic bone. The third bone that I would like you to know about, if you can see the light blue portion in this image, is the mandible. It forms your lower jaw and it basically hinges in front of your ears, and your teeth are attached to it. Your biting force is dependent on how strongly the mandible applies force, and it's very important for your facial structure, the most important bone in my opinion, and the one that you could control, because the force that your mandible bone applies to your tongue and your other bones significantly alters and modifies your face shape. Like the people who are old, after the age, their face shape, their mandible curves inwards. After they lose their teeth, you would have seen that their jaw curves inwards. So your bones are not fixed, they are flexible, and it's been scientifically noted that even proper facial development occurs till 20, 30 late adults, and even in the age of 60, 70s, people's facial features, bones redevelop because they're not attached, they are just hinged together and fused together. Even your mandible in older people, it significantly alters its shapes to compensate for the loss of teeth. That knowing, we could even modify your bones. So let's get behind the maths of these features and the numbers behind it. So the first thing you need to know about these face to neocranium ratios. So basically, neocranium is your brain cap, or the structure that covers the bone structure that covers your forehead till the back of your brain. So when you're an infant or at birth, this ratio is approximately 9:1, your neocranium ratio to your face ratio. But as we grow, this ratio decreases from 5:1 to 3:1, and in a fully developed face, this ratio is 2:1 in a mature adult. So one thing you need to note in that in the angel face, there is a smaller face to neocranium ratio, and in the witch face, there is a larger face to neocranium ratio. The next feature that we need to know about is the nose. So as you can see that in the in the angel face, there is an upturned nose with 120-degree nasal bial angle, and in the witch face, there is a downturned nose with 90-degree nasal bial angle. So you'll see that the 90-degree one is actually more realistic, and what everyone has, that's the regular shape of a nose. But whenever everyone goes for a plastic surgery, they have this slight upturned nose, and that's a very common feature to convert your face to an angel face. The next feature that you know about need to know is the convex versus the flat philtrum. That is your upper lip. In angel face, the pouty lips, that's what causes this. And the last feature is your projecting and taut submental region in angel face versus the recessed and drooping submental region in your witch face. So I would not specifically consider this basically is completely dependent on your mandible, face posture, and I do feel like it's even though it's part of a face structure, it's also part of your face posture, and it can be mended and can be significantly altered. So now the last part that we need to discuss is the forward grown versus the down and the back grown mid face and the lower third region. So as you would see, like if you ever get like a chin augmentation, they protrude your chin and like your upper lips if you get lip fillers. So I would not consider this a specific feature in itself, but rather it's a cumulative aggregate of all the other features. Like if you're say the lower jaw, the mandible was fine, then you wouldn't really need this. So now that we have discussed the things that make up your face shape, we'll discuss the factors that affect it. So the first thing is that your skull grows even after your adult age. As I've told previously, that your bones aren't fixed; they are fused together, and they can be modified till your late 20s or 30s, or even in your old age, or in certain cases like paralytic situations when you're like half part of your face or body isn't reacting. So your muscles and face bone structure kind of shifts or modifies to compensate for that. As you may have seen in the case of Stephen Hawking, like his bones have tilted to one direction, so that proves the point that your skull shape isn't fixed and your bones are growing at every stage. The next thing that we need to talk about is your posture. So in my opinion, posture mainly affects your mandible region and um, your lower chin region. Even with the people with the best of jaws, even if their posture isn't right, it would feel like they have double chin, or like your witch jaw, if I would say. The next thing that we need to talk about is orthotropics. Orthotropics is something I'm really passionate about. If you have heard about mewing, you'll know what it is. It's a new science that's been developed. It corrects your facial features, your jaw, using some devices or treatments or exercises. Even braces would be a kind of orthotropic treatment where they give you like small pieces of tools that you could keep in your mouth, and it basically affects your face shape, and in the long run it corrects your skull structure. So in orthotropics, a specific part of that is mewing. It's not, you do not need a doctor for that. It's the basic concept behind mewing is that your tongue's resting position is on your upper palate. So most of people have their tongue on their lower palate, and or if you have your tongue on your upper palate, you're lucky few, and most probably your jaw shape would be very good. But the people who have their tongues on their lower palate right now, just know that part of your lower region or your lower jaw, the way its shape is severely affected by the way the posture of your tongue. So if you're interested into it, just google some videos of mewing, and if you want, I could even create a video on that. But for now, I'll just touch this briefly, all the topics. Then the next topic that we need to know about is training your face muscles. What I personally believe is that you'll know that your face is made up of around 50 muscles. As a baby, all the faces to me, all the faces seem similar, the expression seems similar, but I've noticed that as a person reaches his teens or mid-teens, there's a certain sort of expression, or you could tell what the person's nature is, or the expression is their resting face. What my theory is that, like, say if a person is constantly happy, it shows in their smile, and if a person is constantly frowning, some people just have a frowned up face, right? And 90% of the times it is true that if a person has a resting frown face, chances are that would be their constant expression most of the time. So what I believe is that we are born with neutral muscles, with a neutral face shape, but as we grow, as we make certain expressions more than usual, as we contract and relax certain muscles, say smiling muscles, or if you're frowning, the muscles in your forehead, those muscles, they're constantly worked up, so they develop accordingly. So certain muscles are more developed and more tight, and they're more stronger, and I feel that gives what a personality or your own expression to your face. And it's kind of, that's my own personal theory. And there are a lot of videos that on YouTube that help you train your muscles in your face, especially around your cheekbones, the jaw muscles, the eye muscles. I'll even make a video about that if you need to know, but you could google some of the stuff. So lastly, this was a very overall like brief video covering all the topics and like a little bit of like upper say just touching the topics, and I could make separate videos on each of the topics like mewing and training your face muscles. But let me know if you need a video on any of those topics. But if you like this video, like and subscribe the video. It means a lot. Your subscriptions mean a lot to me, and do please consider checking out my other videos on this channel. If you're into skincare, fashion, lifestyle, or just basically improving your lifestyle,